Today we learn about decimal place value. We have these three starter questions. What are decimals? Can you think of a decimal example? And where do we see decimals in everyday life? Our first question, what are decimals? So decimals are numbers that include a fractional part that is separated from the whole number by a decimal point. For example, 5.73. The red 5 is the whole number part, and the pink 73 is the fractional part. Our third question, where do we see decimals in everyday life? Decimals are used in money, measurements, and scientific calculations. Well, if I look at my cryptocurrency Bitcoin, one Bitcoin is valued at, now with that dollar value, we can see a fractional component, the 0.41. How about measurements? Well, if I think about my height is 1.86 meters. That 86 component is 86 hundredths of 1 meter. It is a fractional part of a whole meter. What about scientific calculations? Scientists are predicting in the year 2030, global temperatures would have risen by 1.3 degrees Celsius. Again, in that temperature increase, we can see a fractional component. The 3 is 3/10. It is a fractional part of 1 degree Celsius. Next up, we have another two questions. Are decimals the same as fractions? And how do we convert decimals to fractions? Decimals and fractions both represent parts of a whole, but they are written in different forms. They can therefore represent the same partial quantity. Second question, how do we convert decimals to fractions? To convert a decimal to a fraction, we write the digits after the decimal point as the numerator and use a denominator based on the place value. For example, 0.5 is exactly the same as 5/10. The reason for that is the 5 is in the tenths column. Next example, we have 0.25. Now in this example, the 5 is 2 places after the decimal point. That means we are in the hundredths place value. So that decimal is equivalent to 25 hundredths. Final example, 0.75. That is exactly the same as 75 hundredths. So what we need to remember with decimal place value is that numbers to the left of the decimal point represent whole units, e.g. ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and numbers to the right of the decimal point represent fractional parts, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and so on. Each place value to the right of the decimal is 10 times smaller than the previous place. So from tenths to hundredths, I am dividing by 10. From hundredths to thousandths, again I'm dividing by 10. And from thousandths to 10,000ths, I'm also dividing by 10. Each of those place values are 10 times smaller than the previous place value. So if I had to expand this large decimal value, I would have the following. The 9 is in the thousands column, so that gives us 9,000. The 1 is in the hundreds column, that is 100. 2 is in the tens, and 2 multiplied by 10 is 20. The 3 is in the ones, and 3 multiplied by 1 is 3. Then I have my fractional component. 4 is in the tenths column, so I have 4 tenths. 5 is in the hundredths column, that is 5 hundredths. 6 is in the thousandths column, that is 6 thousandths. 7 is in the 10,000ths column, that is The second fractional component, I could write that in fractional form. So I could have 9,123. Now converting 0.4 to a fraction, the 4 is in the tenths, 4 tenths. 0.05, the 5 is in the hundredths column, that is 5 hundredths. The 6 is in the thousandths column, 6 thousandths. The 7 is in the 10 thousandths place value column, 7 10 thousandths. Progress check. Have a go at these questions to test your understanding, then check your answers with mine. If you're getting these right, all good. If you're making some mistakes, rewind, have a look back at our video again, and then it should all make sense. Good luck. Hey guys, this is Casey at Onetree. If you like the content, please remember to like and subscribe. Also, if you'd like some online tutoring, please email me at onetreemath@gmail.com. Cheers.